We're, and we're live. Welcome back to the iFilmmaker podcast. My name is Ariel Martinez, and thank you guys for joining us on this episode. We have Mr. Caleb Pike on the show for this episode. What's up,
What is
buddy?
going on, dude?
What's going on, man? Love having you on the show. Before we move forward to everything, we've had a lot of comments. People were expecting you to be on the episode before. I definitely got questions asking where you were. Do you want to care to comment on that?
Yeah, I just straight up hardcore completely forgot. And we both of us were at NAB,
Well,
and
yeah.
notifications get kind of weird sometimes when you change time zones, and just a
Yeah.
combination of all of it.
I wouldn't even say forgot. It was a time zone straight up.
Mm.
It was a time zone issue. And it's funny because I was saying that to Matt and Peter when they were on. I'm like, watch it be a time zone issue. The funny thing is today I did that mistake, except it was the opposite. It was a little bit earlier than expected. So yeah, trying to get used to that, man. But glad to have you on the show, though. We're glad to finally be able to make this happen. I know a lot of people wanted to get your take on the gear that was released, things that were announced, and all that stuff. So definitely excited to dive into that stuff now in this episode. Before we get to that, though, I want to say hello to everyone that's joining us live. I see you guys there. We appreciate you joining live. And for those of you that are not joining us live, make sure you go over to the iFilmmaker YouTube channel, check that out, get subscribed, get notified every time we go live, and you can join the conversation, start sending in your questions, and be part of the conversation. So anyways, moving forward to the gear, the stuff that everybody wants to hear. We have a whole list of things to cover.
Yes,
right?
we do.
And I know last week we went over quite a few things. We might skim a couple of those products once again, go over it, get your take on it. What do you think was what really impressed you? Like walking out, what really got you excited from anything, from cameras, lenses, lighting, audio? What really got you excited? Is that something you can think of off the back of your head now, or?
Yeah. It was kind of a quiet year. There were a couple little interesting things that went down, but I think the two that really stuck out to me was Aputure with all their announcements. They do this thing where at the beginning of the show, they have a couple big things like the 300D Mark II, a couple modifiers. But what really struck me was the 3 or 4 things they announce in the middle of the show. Because now what they're doing is this dinner, and then they come out with all this new stuff halfway through the show. So I think they are going to, a lot of companies are going to go out of business because of what they did last week. Just their new system, their Sidus, I believe it's called, system, where all their lights talk to each other over this Bluetooth mesh network. So did you talk to them much about that?
Not really. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to spend too much time on that. Not to say that their stuff did not get me excited. I'm actually hoping that you could give me more information on this, because that's actually one of the things that I haven't been able to kind of dive into.
Gotcha. Yeah. So do you want to dive into that right now?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. So Aputure
might take
came
up
out.
half the episode.
You say what?
This might take up half the episode.
Oh, I'll go quick because I had
man, I'm good.
My episode earlier.
Let's do this.
Aputure came out with 4 new fixtures at the show that I can think of. The 300D Mark II, the RGB panel, as they call it. It's essentially like a sky panel competitor.
Wow.
From Arri. And then they have the MC, the Amerian MC, and then the RC. So 4 lights, and these 4 brand new lights all have this same tech in them where it creates like a Bluetooth mesh network. So you may have heard of like mesh Wi-Fi networking, where you put these little hubs around your house and they all just kind of create this one great fast Wi-Fi connection. Well, the same thing is happening now with Bluetooth. So what they're doing is all their new lights, if you have 6 lights turned on, they all create a network together, and they're all connected to all the other lights. So if you turn off one light, the network is still there. And if your phone falls in a toilet and is dead, the network is still there. So it's a really robust system. Anyone can jump on it with their phone and using this Aputure app that they'll have. So it's really, really robust. It's perfect for production. And then all the lights can be synchronized together. You can create different scenes, different effects, and control them all from your phone. But what's really amazing is not only did they come out with that, but all their old lights can join this new network. So anyone out there who may own, Aputure lights, they almost always come with a little remote. This little like it
Yeah.
looks like an old camcorder remote.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah. And so if your light has that, you can essentially get that light to join this new system using what they're calling the Sidus link. So it's like $100 for this like hub that you just have to have on nearby your other gear. And
Okay.
it'll automatically, all those old lights, even the really, really old stuff, can join this new network. And then as you connect with your phone to all these different phones, these different groups, and create all these different scenes and effects, it'll automatically know, oh, because this Wi-Fi setup, or excuse me, this Bluetooth network can communicate in two ways, receive and send. So the light can essentially tell the entire network, hey, I'm only a daylight light. And then your app will reflect that. So
Hmm.
instead of having pages of settings per light, you're only going to see on, off, and dim on the daylight fixtures. And when it's bicolor, you have more control there. So really, really interesting. And of
My
course, the lights
goodness.
they released, I mean, they're amazing. The 300E Mark II, I would have liked to have seen a bicolor option from
Mm,
them, but it is brighter. It has this new functionality. The controller is tiny, considering how bright it is.
got it.
And then the light bulb is really exciting. So
Yeah.
it doesn't need it has a built-in USB battery, or I shouldn't say USB because the way you charge it is you screw it into a light fixture or a socket, which is pretty ingenious. So it's a
This
completely
is.
wireless bulb. You can carry it around without any socket, not
Oh, you're
attached to
talking
any
about the
light.
bulb. Okay.
Yeah, the RC.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I was looking
So
at that.
really cool.
And you could put that into any socket, and
Mhm.
that's how it charges?
Yeah. So it
Oh
doesn't
my
need to be turned on. So you could just put a lamp in a corner and screw in this bulb, and even if the lamp's not plugged in, it'll still work.
that is unreal.
Yeah.
And is it dimmable?
Dimmable, RGB, and bicolor.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you could, like, for a music video, you could buy a bag, a whole bunch of these, grab
And
a
how much
ton
are
of lamps and just connect them all together and have slow fades and all kinds of crazy stuff.
man, look at that.
Yeah, something
Says,
else.
the light will run for 12 hours on minimum
Yeah,
20, I'm sorry, 20 hours on minimum intensity,
right,
and
which is probably where
100.
you would have it on a
Right,
lamp in the background.
and 100 right, minimum intensity just to get that color glowing there.
Mm,
Charge time 75 minutes. CRI, TLCI ratings. Actually, I don't see that rating there.
I think it's
60.
96 according to what
Is
I
it?
was told, at least.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see it here on the news press release. 60 bucks.
Yeah, and then their little new it's essentially they have a new, like, Pro M9 essentially, that little aperture light that everyone has, that little 9 diode tiny fixture. Well, they
Ye-
have, an RGB version of that now, and it's like 80 bucks.
Oh, dude, that's what really got me pretty excited. The
And
$80?
yeah, 80 bucks for the light, and then you can get it as a kit with that crazy case. You see that case where it's like
Yeah, yeah,
Wi-Fi
I
or
definitely
wireless
mentioned
charging?
that. I mentioned that one last time. That
Mm,
case got me very excited. That thing,
yeah,
with the cutouts for I don't how many can fit in that case? It's like 9 or 12 or something
12,
like
I
that.
think. Yeah,
Yeah, and
12.
then it charges in the case. It
Yeah,
charges
it's amazing.
with the magnets, and you connect the case to an outlet, and oh man,
It's really nice.
they killed it this year.
Yeah, and that light is putting a lot of people out of business because I'm friends with other companies, and
Mhm.
I was walking around, and various vendors usually bring like little prototypes of products they want to show certain people,
Sure.
and a lot of them I just had to say like I'm so sorry, but I mean, have you seen the Aperture booth? And they're like, no, I'm like, dude, it's over. So
You're
many
done.
lights that were good and cheap are now like absolutely destroyed by and all those little M9s, these new lights, which is actually called the MC. They all have that Bluetooth mesh stuff going on. If you
Really?
buy one of them, you immediately are into that ecosystem. It's not like
Jeez.
Aputure is forcing you to like spend $1,600 on a light to get that
Yeah.
flexibility.
Yeah, I see it here. It's called the ALMC.
Right. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh
So
my gosh.
wild,
Yeah.
wild stuff.
So it looks like it does carry 12 of those at the same time
Yeah.
inside the case. The multi-light kit comes with the case and it's at $1,200.
Well, that's I think if you get the full Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can buy them.
That's for 12 little lights.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm assuming, right? That's for 12 lights and
Yeah.
the case. Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah. I'm
That's so
hoping they come
good.
out with like a bracket where you could snap them all together and make like a
Oh
giant panel.
man.
That'd be sweet.
Maybe a third party company would come out with that. And then
Yeah.
Aputure comes out with it, and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's two other really, really interesting things with this whole new update we saw this year.
Mm-hmm.
The first is color picking. So on your phone, you can connect
Oh yeah.
to it and point it at anything, and it'll pick up the luminance level and the color, and it sounds kind of gimmicky and like you can buy a $10 smart home bulb that does that. But because of the CRI values and the way, proper video RGB is done, it's really accurate. So Aputure
Man.
had this event on Tuesday night where they had, various people to check out some of the new stuff and where they announced some of these items. And one of the gals there her name's Kitty from Atola Visuals. So she's got a great YouTube channel in our space. And
Okay.
she has purple dyed hair. So they grabbed her hair and it's like perfectly nailed it. It was crazy.
Dang.
So you could and you can save these as like a library on your phone. So if you're in a really cool area and you notice there's like some very interesting color tones in their space, or even artwork. I mean, you could go up to a piece of art, and if you really like the reds and blues and teals, you could just snap those and save them, and then add those to your lights later. It's insane. So that was one
Wow.
thing that is really exciting, and the other I've never seen before, and I'm really excited about. It's really nerdy, but I think makes a huge difference. So, for example, your background right now,
Mm-hmm.
is that like a gel or is that like an RGB light? That kind of blue.
It's a DMX light, RGB.
Okay, so it doesn't look bad. It
Mm-hmm.
looks natural and blue
Oh
and normal.
damn.
But but here, stick with me. I'm sure this will resonate with you and anyone who's worked with
We'll
colored
see
light.
how we'll see where this goes. Go
All
ahead.
right. So when you splash a wall with a crazy color, like really, really intense red, in
Okay.
person it looks amazing.
Yeah.
But on your camera, on the edges, it looks red, but in the middle, it's like orange. You ever notice that like red RGB look like orange, or it just doesn't look like
Okay.
the actual color that it is?
Sure.
Often that's because Rec 709, which most of us are still
Yeah.
grading in, it can't handle a certain saturation level of color. So, like on your vector
Hmm.
scope, when color goes way past where it should and it gets all
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, all of these lights and this whole ecosystem from Aputure, when it comes to color, you can actually turn on your color space. You can control the color space that the lights will reproduce color as.
So if you're shooting in Rec 709, you can make sure that it doesn't pass the
Mhm.
limit of the color
Yes.
limit that you could set it to that as a preset.
You can set any of the lights to have whatever color you choose fit within 709, which is
Wow.
amazing. So essentially, that ridiculous red that now looks orange, you turn on the 709 setting, and it has all these color spaces and shows you where the color space is landing. You know that uh, that gamut graph that we've all seen with the weird looking rainbow shape. It has
Yeah.
all of that. And
Wow.
that's awesome to me because a lot of the time it looked great on set. It looks okay on your monitor. And then when you grade it, you're like, well, this is weird. The
That's
skin
just
of the person looks
ridiculous.
red, but then the red in the background's like orange. So very, very interesting.
That's so crazy, man. I don't know how they just rolled out with all this stuff all at once. Like, how many separate products did they have last year?
New products?
Right.
I think they actually announced a lot of the stuff they actually are shipping this year. A couple modifiers. It was mainly like mounts, Bowens mount attachments for their lights and their 120D Mark II. I'm probably missing something, but I think that was about it.
And then this year they just went all out.
Yeah, they went nuts this year.
So I know that you they did their own little mixer there and made some announcements there. I wonder what the benefits for an NAB crowd, what the benefits of having announcements there as opposed to like on the floor where everyone is.
Right.
I'm sure there's something I'm not seeing.
Right. Well,
from a
they've
business
talked
point.
about how they really want the community to be involved with that. So they have
Okay.
this dinner, or they've only done it 2 years in a row, but
They haven't been to NAB before last year?
no, they have. But this
Oh,
dinner where they do this
got
second
it.
round of announcements is kind of a new
Got it.
thing
Got
for
it.
them, and it's interesting. You'd think you'd want to have it all at the first day, but I wonder if they're kind of a double whammy when they do it this way.
Right. Maybe it's an incentive to get more people to their mixer, to their dinner or whatever.
It could be, yeah, or they just, and it's all hyped up, like, but
Right.
it's
It has
legit
to
hype.
be.
It's legit hype because, like, who's making this stuff?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it has to be. Everyone was hyping up their after parties and their
right.
dinners and
Yeah, all
mixers
that
and
stuff.
stuff.
So,
Super
yeah,
interesting.
Aputure.
And
Insane.
they just nailed it. They nailed it.
They really did. So that was one big thing for me. The other was all this Zcam stuff, which is insane.
Zcam.
Zcam. Did you guys
That's
get to that last time?
Zcam. I have
They're
to
the
see
little
it.
tiny cameras, the little boxes.
I'm not sure I remember that. Let me see. Where would I find that?
If you just
I've
Google
heard of
like
it for sure.
Zcam E2, you'll see a picture of what almost all their cameras look like. It looks like a big fat GoPro, or like a
Oh yeah.
the pocket cinema camera or micro cinema camera. Kind of looks like
Oh
that.
yeah. I saw this. That's right. That's right. Yeah, what are your thoughts? I didn't get too much information. I know I passed by it. We stopped. I was with Matt. We stopped
Okay.
by it and it looked intriguing. Um, I don't know how I would use it. I thought it was fantastic in the sense that like the capabilities that it had
Right.
for such a small form factor.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how. I mean, the things that I'm obviously attracted to, as I'm sure you are things that I can see myself using in my work.
Right.
Everything else is like secondary. So,
hmm
I mean, what are your thoughts on this? And can you use this for something?
Yeah. When they first, so they had the what was it? The Zcam, the original one, and it was like a GoPro with a micro four thirds sensor, and it had tons of limitations. It kind of wasn't taken very well. Then they came out with the E2, and I just
Mm-hmm.
was expecting it to be just as bad as the first one. But
Okay.
slowly they've been like getting the word out, and people have been trying it and liking it, and the specs are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like 4K, the one you can buy today is 2 grand, 4K at 120 frames per second.
10-bit.
Supposedly, yeah, ProRes
Mm-hmm.
internal recording. And supposedly they're going to come out with a global shutter version of that one for 2 grand as well.
Oh wow.
It won't have the 120 at 4K or something, which would be kind of a first for because when was the last time you worked with a global shutter camera that was under 3 grand?
I don't.
Like they're all CMOS sensors, I
I
believe.
don't remember working with one,
Yeah,
especially at that price point.
yeah, it's just crazy. So
It's interesting.
so that's been gaining some reputation, and then this year they announced, which I don't even know if it's possible. I think their first announcement might be possible, and that's the same body but a little deeper, and it's going to be a Super 35 6K RAW camera. It
Is that
records
Zcam still?
Zcam. It's called the Zcam E2, so same name, but it's the E2 S6. S standing for Super 35, 6 for 6K. Zcam 2 S6.
That wasn't announced yet, though, right?
They did. They had it at the show. But
Really?
it's not going to be available until October.
Oh, okay. So it's not on their website.
Right. No, it's not there yet. Yeah. And it's like 12 and 14-bit RAW. I don't know if they're going to use, ProRes for that or how they're going to do that, but it's internal on a CFast card.
Huh.
So that's pretty interesting.
I mean, this is a really fantastic option if you want to get that high end. Like what I'm thinking off the bat here. So I'm looking at the camera,
right?
The Zcam E2. It's a little box. It's a little cube thing.
It's adorable.
Yeah, with the sensor and some 1/4-inch screws to go into there. I mean, I can see myself putting this on a small gimbal, right? Because this requires a monitor. It doesn't have a built-in monitor, so you'll need an external monitor to check what you're shooting. You can see yourself putting this on a gimbal and get some high-end gimbal shots from this.
Yeah. I think it could be used for so much more, though. Like, I think when we all look at it, that's kind of the first thing we think of. Gimbal, drones.
Drone also, yeah.
Essentially using it as a really, really super duper nice GoPro. But
yeah,
I'm more thinking of it more recently as like a miniature red, like a red brain.
Yeah.
And at the show, they had some great examples of how you could rig it out. And it's essentially like build your own camera, cinema camera. You take that thing, they run off of Sony MPF and another type of battery. It's like 20 hours of recording or something ridiculous.
Oh my god! I'm looking at this footage, and by the way, to everyone that's listening, I'm going to put links to all this stuff on the show notes for this episode over at iFilmmaker.tv. I'm looking at the footage, the test footage here that they have on their Vimeo channel. That's on their website. Stuff looks amazing, and they're using it for car mounts all over, like inside the car, outside the car. Like you can get some fantastic shots. Like these are shots that would require an insane rig to attach to the car to to get the equivalent looking shot. Like normally you would see something like a fully decked out Alexa Mini on the hood of that car.
Yeah,
but here you can probably rely on suction cups.
Absolutely,
for that, because it's such a small camera. I mean, I'm seeing that, man. So the image quality is really nice.
Yeah,
really, really nice.
And Super 35, that would be, because that's the current one is Micro Four Thirds, and I believe it's the same as like the GH5S sensor wise. I believe it's also dual ISO, or at least this new one they announced is going to have dual ISO. So now you're looking a lot better for low light and dynamic range.
It's
crazy.
This wow.
And that'll be $4,000, I believe, for the Super 35.
That one is 4,000.
The new one, the current one you can buy right now is $2,000.
Got it. No, this looks fantastic. I'm looking at some footage here, 120 frames. They have it down to ISO 320 at T2.2. The shot looks great. You would think indoors at 120 frames, you need a lot of light.
Yeah.
But no, this stuff looks amazing. Huh.
And if that wasn't enough, this is where it gets where I'm like, okay, guys, you need to calm down. I know you're excited. You got a really cool new camera here, but this next stuff is just kind of silly. And that is that in a similar form factor, they said they don't have any like products there, but they announced that they're going to come out with the E2 F6 and F8. So we've been talking about the S6, which is Super 35. But they're saying they're going to come out with a full frame 6K version of this and a full frame 8K version of this. And that's where I'm like, okay,
stop.
Excuse me. I don't know how do you deal with that heat? So maybe it'll be like twice as deep or something, or long, because they're going to keep the same profile.
Yeah.
If you're looking straight on at this little box, supposedly their future models will only be deeper. They won't actually make the camera wider or taller, which is
Huh.
nice. So I don't know how that's possible. If they do it, that's amazing. That's just silly. Something that small that you can build up. And what's exciting about all of this is I love where this is all going. For instance, you have FS7,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful camera. It's also huge.
Yeah.
If you're coming from like what I shoot with, which is just little baby mirrorless cameras. But I think someday we're all those cinema cameras are going to be the size of these smaller cameras.
Yeah,
With
for
the
sure.
ability to build them up. Like think like, little sensors in a
Sure.
box that you can attach to anything. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. I know for sure as technology continues to advance, you're gonna continue to get these phenomenal cameras, the size of a GoPro with the capabilities of a professional production camera. Um, I like that I like the form factor in that they um took off anything that doesn't require, like, they only have everything that's needed to get that image quality. Like,
Right.
no internal IS, no ND. Like, they really stripped everything off, all the bells and whistles, everything. Yeah, this is a very specific kind of camera, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, you can do a lot with it. There's so much potential, Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm
Definitely
always
needs a grip.
was
It
that was
definitely
that
needs like a controller of some kind.
I'm sure there's going to be some sort of, either they come out with it or a third party company that's going to come out with some sort of cage for it and whatnot.
Mm,
That's just where it goes. Oh,
yeah.
what, and underwater. That'll definitely be easy to make
Yeah.
an underwater cage for that little guy. That's not going to
Bingo.
be $20,000 like it is for a red.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Think about that one.
Ridiculous.
I'm getting you all excited. Come on.
Oh man. That's very
You're gonna
nice.
have to make a review on that, man.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I guess quadcopter guide in the chat here guessed the little baby red before we got to it.
Little baby mini red.
So
Oh
Ecamm
man.
2 or Zcam E2.
Zcam E2, guys. Go and check that out. I'm gonna put a link to all that stuff. This camera, I don't know why. I mean, I guess I didn't see the sample footage when I was there. We were just looking at it. Like, I don't know that I was looking at any screens or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an interesting little camera and we kept moving, but man, hello. See, this is why I bring you on, man, because you look at all the other stuff.
I tried to. This year was tough. This year ran away from me.
Yeah.
I definitely don't feel like I got to see as much as I normally would have liked to.
Did you stay all 3 days?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we flew out Thursday.
Yeah, last year I came in for day 2 and 3. This year I came in for day 1 and 2. Right. Maybe next year I'll stay for all 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little bummed. I wish I would have stayed one extra day. But I had a job already and whatnot.
Well,
so
that beats money in the bank, man. Gotta do it.
So in the comments, they're saying that they're bummed that Canon didn't drop a C100 update. C100, huh?
Mark III, that would have been nice.
Mark III, what would something like that look like?
That's a good question. It's tough because they have their C200, so I wonder if they won't do C100, but they have that line, so it's a tough one.
Yeah,
maybe they would drop like essentially a C200 without RAW. Would that make sense?
Maybe. That's interesting. Well, yeah, basically a C200 without RAW would look like I mean, Canon being Canon, like I would totally expect that from them. On the C100, maybe C100 Mark III, I could see like still no 4K maybe.
Man, that's crazy. But I totally wouldn't be, I wouldn't bat an eye if that's
for
what
sure.
happened.
But they'll give you 120 frames
right
at HD,
or 720p. Bump it up from
you go to 240 to 240 to 260 180 260 at 720.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's a resolution they're okay with the R, the EOS R. What is it? It's 120 at 720p. That's right. Wait, yeah, it's 720p. Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm
So
surprised because I heard ripples through through certain channels they were going to do something,
yeah.
and then nothing happened.
Hmm.
So that's interesting.
They require perfection.
Mm.
They require perfection. Um, tell me about the this might be up your alley. The A6400 they're asking here in the live chat.
Ah,
Have you been able to play with that?
A6400. Yes, I have the A6400. Are they talking about that, or is it the A6700 or A7000?
Oh, I was looking at the
Or am I missing a different chat here?
quadcopter guide. It said give me an A6400 with IBIS.
Oh, right. Yeah, that would be amazing. It's a weird camera. It's very in betweensy, which is exactly what they wanted, I guess.
Yeah, they can't give you everything
Right.
because it's going to make all their other cameras around that
Yeah.
product
It's a very awkward lineup right now. The
drop.
A63, 64, and 65.
Yeah,
Um, but I as a YouTuber, I love it. I'm not a
yeah,
vlogger, so I'm not running around, with the camera out here.
sure.
But in a studio, it's really, really nice to use because you just
Yeah,
flip that screen up and
yeah, because
it's
I
great.
know that it's a very very small form factor,
Mm,
and the autofocus is phenomenal. If it's
it
anything
really
like
is.
my A6300, which I still love
Mm,
so much, um, it's phenomenal autofocus, still phenomenal image quality.
mm.
But has that improved at all throughout
Image
any of this?
quality?
Yeah.
I don't think much has changed there. I know the autofocus is better, which
Oh,
is
okay.
amazing because like you said, the A64 300 and 500 are both phenomenal
Yeah.
already. Um, maybe a little less overheating issues. I don't think it got any
Yeah.
kind of bump though.
Yeah.
Sony's definitely reaching the end of that life when it comes to they really need to address data rates and banding and
Yeah.
low 420 8-bit.
Yeah.
That's gotta change.
Yeah, the 8-bit world is, I mean, I think every camera company needs to start stepping away from that. Um just like the lack of 4K in the cameras,
Mm,
Canon looking at you.
yeah.
Um yeah, they need to, cuz that's huge, like in 2019 to not have 4K in a camera. Um yeah. I mean, not that you can't, I mean, I still deliver everything in HD,
Right.
but I shoot everything in 4K
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. Or at least downsample it for us,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
Yeah.
take that 6K sensor, 4K sensor, and
Yeah.
downscale it to a 1080p file, but don't do this cropping stuff.
Yeah. I think the A6300, that's even a 6K sensor, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the down samples it to 4K, which is quite lovely. It's
Yes.
crazy sharp.
Yeah.
The Sharp 8K camera.
Ah, yes. This one I don't really care about at all, which I
Yeah.
know is kind of odd because everyone's all kinds of excited
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's kind of just like, you know, a TV manufacturer was like, let's make an 8K camera.
Yeah.
So if they really get serious and if they have a department that starts developing, proper log with LUTs and the whole 9 yards, then I'm more interested. But for now, it just seems like the content creators love the idea of it because there's this huge flip out screen,
Sure.
but no one's gonna be shooting 8K. Or the
Yeah.
people that are, they already have Reds and they're very happy with them. So
Yeah.
it's kind of an odd one. But hey, if all it does in this world is introduce more affordable, high resolution options, then it served its purpose, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that it's fun maybe to mess around with one time. Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at the camera from my perspective, I mean, and I can't speak too much about this, but I don't know. I don't know that it is including a lot of features that we like. I think the main purpose of that camera is to introduce the 8K into the SLR world.
Right, right.
So yeah, I don't think it's still meant to replace any SLR on the market right now.
Yeah,
But I might be speaking out of ignorance. I'm not, I haven't held it, I haven't played with it, so I don't know the exact features on that camera.
right.
Like I don't even know. Maybe that's something we could look up, but I don't even know if it's like the bit rate on that 8K.
Right. I did
Uh,
talk to Cinema 5D,
yeah,
took it out and shot with it, and Kinotika. Dave from
Dave.
Kinotika shot
Yeah,
with it. Yeah.
might have him on a show.
Yeah, and so they talked about it. It seems very bare bones still, like there's no
Yeah,
log. I can't remember what the data rate was. It wasn't as high as you'd think
200
it should be.
megabits per second.
Yeah, that's like 50.
It's like
Let's see.
it's like half the GH5.
If 4K, if 8 hold on, 8K is essentially quad 4K, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So that means there's only 50 megabits a second per 4K on that puppy. That makes sense?
right. So it's like, um,
Which is
th-
really low.
yeah, it's very low. That's like
Yeah.
my FS. That's one of my pet peeves about my FS5 or the
Mm,
FS5 is that it's an HD at. Oh my god, I hate the
so like that
FS5.
28 megabits a second garbage?
Oh man, no, it's actually 50 megabits per second in
Oh,
HD,
okay.
and then in 4K it's 100 megabits, and that's the
Right.
highest it does internally.
Yeah.
Um,
Same with the A7 III and all this stuff on the Sony side.
yeah, exactly right, and the SLRs are the same thing, which is yeah, it's quite annoying. And what it bothers me the most is because I mean I have two 27-inch monitors, so when I really look at the image that I'm shooting, it's nice and all, it's sharp, but it does break down quite easy
Yeah.
when you start going in and touching up stuff. So,
That's where Panasonic's got it going on.
oh man,
I
oh
forget,
yes,
of course, they have the higher data rates, which we gotta say that's one thing Canada's great. Like, what is it, 480 for their 4K, which is good.
full,
But that's all you get. Whereas Panasonic, they give you
yeah,
400,
yeah,
and my favorite is 150. So you're a little better than 100, but when you go to 150 on the GH5 and 5S, you get 10-bit 422. And that will be coming to the S1 eventually. But that's the sweet spot because you get the small file sizes, but you
yeah.
get all the juicy video specs.
Let's talk about the S1.
Mm.
I've been really digging. I've been really lately. I don't know what it is. I've been really like, I guess, homesick without full frame. And I mean, I've been loving on the GH5 so much for a long time now. And but yeah, especially before we started the show, I was asking you how's your like I'm thinking you're shooting super shallow with like a 1.8
Oh, right.
lens, and I'm asking you how'd you get your shot so shallow? You're like, no, I'm on my full frame at f 2.8 at
2.8.
20,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
I'm here at 2.0. It doesn't look anywhere as near as shallow as yours.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, man, I'm missing out
Mm,
on full frame. But at the same time, I'm conflicted because it's not really the scope of my work. Most of my work is with my higher end cameras like the FS7.
right. Right.
So it would really be for my own personal purchase, really. I can't justify that
Yeah.
unless I sell the GH5 probably and just replace it with the full frame. What's
Right.
killing me though is that they changed the freaking mount. They
On
they
what?
they on the S1, not that they changed it. Well,
Oh,
they've made it into a Leica mount.
right.
Um, oh, this is a good question for you. Do they have a Canon adapter for that? Or
It's coming. While we're talking about my full frame, I just realized my headroom is, I'm super anal, so I'm just gonna there it is.
Do
That's
your
better.
thing.
um, they Sigma announced one just a little bit ago, so it's not available to purchase yet, but it'll be 250 for a
Okay.
Canon to L mount adapter.
So
And I'm sure we'll see all the
third parties,
adapters show
right?
up. Yeah, yeah.
So it's gonna be like the Sigma MC11 for Sony cameras. The Sigma
Oh,
MC11
right. Yeah,
adapter.
yep. It's exactly like that. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
I think it might not have continuous autofocus for video,
Yeah,
which doesn't really matter since this camera does
yeah,
not do well with autofocus.
yeah. To be honest, autofocus to me, it doesn't matter to me since I'm always manual. It's
Mm.
just the way that I shoot. I like to control that.
Do
Um,
you use a speed booster? Do you mind me
yeah,
asking
yeah,
you something?
yeah.
So, oh,
I use
okay, for your cinema cameras?
Ye I do when I'm using the 24 to 105. I
Mm,
try to avoid it simply because, and I haven't tested this out, but I feel like the speed booster to me um l- makes it less sharp since it's more glass being placed in front of the sensor. So I kind of
right.
like to just use straight up adapters like the MC11 or the
Mm,
Metabone straight up Metabones adapter. Um Yeah, for my Sigma glass, either way for the FS7, it's I can't use a speed booster just because they're meant the it'll make it into a full frame sensor. So and then the 18 to
mm.
35 and 50 to 100 are not full frame camera or
Oh,
full
right.
frame
That's right.
lenses.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So you'll get that vignetting. But it
Got
doesn't
it.
matter because it's sharp. It's crazy tack sharp, and I feel like the
Yeah.
speed booster would lower that sharpness.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't. I like the speed booster. I like the fact that it makes it nice and bright and
right.
whatnot.
Get more of that shallow depth of field.
Yeah,
Scoot that
but
camera a little closer.
yeah, for the GH5 though, it's the only adapter that I have, the speed
Okay.
booster. So I use
Yeah.
it. You know, I use it for the GH5. But again, that's not my like higher end work and stuff like that. So
Right. Right, right,
yeah.
right.
So let's see. What are people saying here on the chat?
And just to wrap up the S1,
Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted
I
to.
I think, I actually have one right here. It arrived the day before I left for NAB.
Oh,
So, today's video, the one that's just went up before we started here on my channel, was all shot on the S1.
really?
And,
I gotta go
so
see that.
far, it's laughably large, the camera itself.
I know. I was
Think
holding it.
1DX or bigger, or bigger.
I love
It's
it.
massive, and I love it. I love it. You put the grip on it, and now it's just ridiculous. It's like holding a cinder block.
You see these?
Yeah, yeah, I see them.
You see these? I got big hands, man.
Then, yeah, if you have you, like, held an A7 III,
A7 III.
the full frame Sony,
Um,
or
I,
A7S, all that stuff?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it's like a slightly larger version of your A6300, and
You
this thing
should
is
see me.
just
You should see me
astounding.
trying to take stills with my A6300.
You get 2 fingers on it.
Oh my god, it's like two fingers on it. The funny thing is that sometimes I'll have a big, huge lens on it, like the 50 to 100,
Mm,
and it's just quite funny. But it does take fantastic stills.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just a small camera, and that's another reason why I kind of want a really good full size camera. You know,
Mm,
to I hate showing up to sometimes. I do a lot of stuff like for Burger King, a lot of like either social media or
right.
um internal corporate stuff. Sometimes they have me take some snaps, and I'm there with the A6300, making that happen.
It's a great
Um,
little camera.
yeah, yeah. They're saying here on the chat that it's the S1 looks good, except those are ergonomics. It's a giant. I mean,
I
personally,
like it.
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I like
and,
it.
like, get a load of this, the battery life on this thing is like cinema camera level. It's amazing.
Really,
Do I have another battery with me? Trying to do a size comparison. I don't think I do, but that's the battery. I have fairly large hands too. Here's an iPhone 7.
yeah.
See if I can get that Sony autofocus going.
Oh wow, I think
So,
uh,
it's a little wider than my iPhone.
Jeez.
longer. It's huge. It's kind of like taking like a Canon LPE6, and it's like 150% of that or more. So it's really something else. 3000 milliamp hour, which means the off brands will probably do even longer or be even more capacity. So
Right.
that's phenomenal. Battery life's amazing. It just needs that firmware update because it's only
Yeah.
100 megabits right now,
Oh,
8-bit
really?
422.
But I'm sure
And
that's coming though, right?
oh, it is, yeah. We don't know when. And it just needs vlog. Like after shooting vlog on the GH5, it's hard to go back to the other photo styles.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once all that arrives, I think it's going to be a
Yeah.
dynamite camera.
Yeah. I mean, with that adapter, I can see myself getting that and probably saying goodbye to the GH5 personally, just because I
Yeah,
don't, I don't see any reason to have more SLR cameras lying around. And that'll just take its place. They're
yeah.
asking here on the chat, Blackmagic 4K Pocket or GH5S.
That got a lot tougher after Blackmagic Raw came out.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing, the fact that you can take a $10 SD card and go out and shoot 12:1 raw video is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would say
Hmm.
falling from solace that you should kind of figure out what you're going to be shooting because the Blackmagic, you've got to build that thing up
Yeah.
into a monster rig to use it unless you're on a gimbal. So that's where the GH5S would be great.
Yeah.
And otherwise, raw video versus the GH5S is just great all arounder. It's got the flip out
Right.
screen. The Wi-Fi control is amazing.
Battery life.
Battery life's good. Yeah, that's a great point. You're not stuck with a ginormous, wide, awkward camera.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The menu system is really good on the Blackmagic too.
yeah,
It's
yeah, it's nice.
phenomenal. Yeah, they're two very different cameras.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine a Sony with 3000 milliamp battery. I think he's referring to Quad Copper is referring to the battery just showed us for the S1. Imagine a battery
Oh,
like
right.
that for Sony.
Hopefully no, they're good to go now with their new batteries.
Yeah.
On the once they get their new generation, everybody, this new A7000 or whatever they're gonna call it, for Super 35, and everyone moved to this new FZ battery because that's a great
Hmm.
battery. I use it for live streaming. I can get through 2 hours of live streaming
Yeah.
without changing a battery. It's a great setup.
Nice. Yeah, I'm using right now the GH5 right now.
Mm,
Off one battery,
yeah,
but yeah,
nice.
it'll last about an hour and a half,
Yeah.
2 hours or so. Not too bad. So what else do we have on our list here? What do you
Yeah.
think? I mean, are you interested in any of the higher end stuff like the Tear Deck Bolt 4K?
Oh,
Um,
I think it's really interesting. Like we're seeing everything go wireless.
yeah,
Wireless sound. Like back in the day, it used to be just boom, wired. Now everything's wireless. Wireless. That's really exciting. I mean, that's a
yeah,
crazy spec, right? 4K. I wouldn't want to have that thing anywhere near my body
yeah.
necessarily,
All of
or
that
sensitive parts of my
radiation.
body. All that radiation just cooking you.
That's heavy video, man. To
Yeah.
transmit that wirelessly. I wonder what the price on that one is. It's like 10 grand probably.
Oh, I can't imagine it being cheap. Yeah, 4K, 10-bit, 42. Was it 444 or was it 4? It can't be 444. It must have been 422.
Uh, where you at? Here we go. It is 422. Transmits 4K 10-bit 422 HDR video at a
Hmm.
range of up to 1,500 feet, line of sight over the unlicensed 5 gigahertz band.
Yeah, that'll mess up your spaghetti.
Yeah, man.
Don't want that.
Gonna get fried up in there, man.
5 gigahertz. And then,
Jeez.
yeah, the strength of that transmission must be strong. Wow. Huh.
Let's see.
No, I didn't see that. I did see, and I saw you had it on the list here, very similar. the Cine HDMI. I didn't get a chance to check it out, but I know a lot of people were talking about that. It like transmits to
Yeah,
your tablet or
Peter.
whatever.
Yeah, Peter brought that one up on the
Mm,
last episode. It was very interesting. It's a very affordable version of a Teradek system,
right.
which is quite awesome.
Mm,
Yeah, it's essentially that, but I mean, this is definitely more my level.
yeah. Likewise.
So yeah, so I could like I told you before, like I operate as a one man band. Oftentimes I'm with a production assistant, but I like to have my sets look like relatively like
Yeah.
a crew set. You know, like I have 5 people. So anything like this right here
Mm,
would be great, where I can just have a nice big iPad Pro and just provide that to my client so they can see exactly what I'm shooting.
yeah. That's great. It also had like a bunch. It has scopes and everything, right? Like some nice stuff going on there.
Yeah,
So I was
does it?
thinking of a different product that someone reviewed.
Let's see. Yeah, well, the price on this one is just a transmitter. It's 220 bucks,
It's amazing.
219.
That's great.
You just attach it to your camera via HDMI and it'll transmit a signal. I believe you can get it with
Is
on
it
your.
powered off of HDMI or does it need? It probably needs like its own battery
It
or something.
looks like it needs its own, either it has a built-in battery or you have to.
Yeah. Also, why is not everything USB rechargeable with the built-in battery? Like, I
Hmm.
what's going on with that?
Well, I can see both cases to that because there have been there have been times where I have rechargeable items like that. Can't think of one off the top of my head where I wish I just had I forget to recharge it before a shoot and I get
Yeah.
to the shoot and I'm like, dang it, I never charged. Oh, yeah, my my Rode NTG 4 Plus Pro. Oops, excuse me. My Rode
Oh,
NTG.
right.
Yeah, uh and so it runs out of battery. Thankfully, my camera provides phantom power, so it could also
Right.
get powered through that.
Yeah.
But I can see like if somebody's using that microphone with an SLR camera that doesn't provide phantom power, um, it'd become an issue
Yeah.
where
You're
you
kind
could
of
just
done.
simply swap out the batteries. And yeah, I usually keep a case of batteries with my gear, so
Right.
for that
No, that's a
reason.
good point. Or at least USB quick charge. Where
Right, right.
like all
It's
this
good
new
to,
stuff, it's like
yeah.
15 minutes or whatever.
I think it'd
But
always be good to have both.
yeah. I'm mainly thinking of like all this. I'm just so done with 9 volts.
Yeah.
Like I'm working on a video to build the ultimate audio bag. I'm
Oh,
getting my
nice.
first like pro audio bag. It won't be like $5,000, but it'll be for me kind of a big deal. And everything's 9 volt, and I just can't live that life.
You get
You
a
know,
lot. You get a big bag of 9 volts.
big old bag of 9 volts.
Just
Because
have
that's
them
just
all
the
there.
dream is have USB batteries, which are everywhere and a dime a dozen. Just have tons of those, and then power everything if they run low, or I don't know. Way
Yeah,
off track there, but
I'm
I
sure.
just I
I'm
love that
sure you
idea.
have I know you have a charging station somewhere there in your studio. So do I. Here in my office, where things just have to continue to get recharged all the time,
Yeah,
which is great. But yeah, batteries are expensive if you're going to
yeah,
continue to buy those.
yeah.
Um, Here, let's see. So, did you happen? You passed by the Black Magic booth, right?
Yeah. I went to their press thing on
Got it.
Monday, but I actually didn't get back to the booth after that.
Got it. I noticed a lens, and we we were trying to figure this out on our the last episode. I noticed the lens that was attached that they were displaying. It was really just to display the camera. They just happen to have a lens on there, but it was a photon or futon. I keep saying.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
You know what? I walked by the booth and I was like, wow, first of all, this booth looks kind of hip. Like, remember wooden cameras booths back in the day? Just kind of
Yeah.
like it was minimal and clean,
Yeah. It
but
was
it
a
looked
very
like
clean.
Chinese lenses.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's going on here? And I was like, you know what? This is probably super legit, but I only saw the ginormous lenses they had, the big boys. And then I left and I never went back. But I
Right.
heard later that they had like a micro four thirds, like cine zoom, a small one that I
Right.
completely missed.
Yeah, I saw it attached to the Pocket Cinema camera 4K.
The Black Magic booth.
Yeah, and I know Matt was like shooting me playing with it,
Mm,
and I was more intrigued by the lens than I was the camera.
yeah.
Um, but I'm for the
Isn't it
life
like
of me.
25 to
Yeah, it was like
it's
a
like a
25.
great range.
Yeah, it was a
25 to
20,
150 or 25 to 100?
something like that. Maybe a little bit less, but still, it's a cinema camera with
Mm.
zoom capabilities, and it was like a T2.8. I'm like,
Yeah, and it was like, I just talked to Dan Chung, and he said something ridiculous, like 15 to 2 grand, I think,
jeez,
which
that'd be
is crazy. Because have you heard of,
phenomenal.
Liao's, lens?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The pricing just came out on that, and that's gonna be, what was it, 6 to 7 grand?
Is that that long lens that you can
No, that's not that crazy looking
like that
macro. It's like,
anteater
oh,
lens?
yeah, it's not that. It's a cinema zoom, 25 to 100. Was it T2?
Here, I think Patrick
2.8.
Benz here on the live chat said 20 to 70 T 3.1.
Oh,
Is that what it was?
so equivalent to like a 2.8. Interesting.
Right, right. And it
Interesting. So that
here
might
it
not
is.
be as helpful then on the
Yeah,
micro
no,
four thirds.
3 3.1 is huh,
I mean, it's essentially a 40 to whatever.
right,
That's still for that price and being
right.
it's still a killer
And it's a
all rounder.
I mean, yeah, I know people are still getting primes, but
Mm.
this and here it is. Geez, I wonder why it was so freaking hard to find this. Um,
No, it's
Thank you, Patrick. This, yeah, it's a $1,700, which is
okay.
not.
Where are you finding this, by the way? Because I couldn't find it while I was at the show. I was trying to search for it online. I couldn't
Yeah,
find it any.
it's super super hard to find. Here, I'm putting it in the our chat
Oh,
there,
sick.
and it's on the No Film School page.
Sweet.
Shipping by the end of the year, and pre-order start in June. So this is basically
Amazing.
a. It says 20 to 70 T3.1. Uh, the close focus
Aputure.
meters at one close
Ooh,
focus distance is
that's kind of rough.
1.5 meters.
What
Is
is
it?
that? That's
Yeah, you have to be
4
really
feet
far.
or so. A little over 4 feet, probably. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was a very, very intriguing lens when I was holding it. It was
Yeah.
obviously it was
Ah, I'm
built
so
like a
bummed I
cinema lens.
missed it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It looked very intriguing. But I like the form factor. I really
Yeah.
like it, and the price is really, really good. I'm a little disappointed. I thought it was 2.8, but
Yeah.
3.1 is not
Well,
too
3.1
far.
is essentially 2.8, right?
Yeah.
T31 is equivalent to roughly a f28.
You would know the science. I don't know the science.
I don't know how it works. Well, I barely know how the conversion works.
Gotcha.
All I know is if you like look at any manufacturer that has like photo and cinema lenses,
Okay.
almost every single time, like a 3.1 or 3.2 is like a 2.8 or something.
Gotcha.
So I'm just
Interesting. Yeah, okay, that makes sense because I have both the digital version of the Sigma 18 to 35 and 50 to 100, both f1.8, but the cinema versions of that are 2.0.
right. You said you have the cinema version?
No, no, no. I have the
Oh, okay.
digital version of both those lenses, Sigma Art series lenses.
Right. Did
But
you
the
know for around $700 you can turn your Sigma 18 to 35 into a cinema? Do you see that booth? That crazy little tiny booth that had the cine mods?
stop,
Um,
stop it. Where is that?
Cinematics is the company. It's so hard to find information. I'm talking to them over email right now, trying to get a review unit.
Yeah, okay.
I talked about my video, but they have this new red 18 to 35 cinema zoom. You can essentially buy a brand new from them. You just give them $1,500 and you get a fully manual Sigma 18 to 35. There's no picture of it online that I can find anywhere, but it's a brand new version of one of their mods. I'm trying to find a picture. I did a story on it on Instagram. In fact, if you give me a second, the piece of paper that has it is just over there. It's really interesting.
Huh.
So I can't find any information about this. They have other versions, but yeah, brand new. They'll buy a lens and they'll mod it.
Mod
So
it. Describe mod for me. What is it?
like essentially in a box, you'll get it's essentially a red Sigma 18 to 35, but it's fully cinemaized. It's a completely metal rehoused lens.
I saw that in a picture. It was on a. Was it on a?
C100 at the show, at least.
It was on a C100. No.
Yeah, I posted it on Instagram, or at least in a story. Let me.
Huh. I saw somebody posted. I saw that it was a red Sigma lens, one either the 18 to 35 or 50 to 100, one of those two.
Mhm.
And it was red. It was like a nice bright red.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it was on the Kino.
Kinotika?
No, no. It was the camera. It's like the 6K
Oh,
camera. What was it called? The Mavo. What's the name of that?
yeah. Terra 4K Delio.
What's the name of the brand? It's escaping my
Kinfinity.
Kinfinity.
Yeah.
It's escaping my head. So yeah, I saw that. Man, that's interesting though. I want to find out more about that.
Yeah, I can't find any information about that particular lens because they have other versions, but they don't look as nice as the one at the show. So
wait, so you were saying something in the realm of like if I send them my
you have several options. You can either send them your lens, which I don't know how I'd feel about shipping my lens overseas, or you can just buy the modded completed setup.
Sure.
Or supposedly they can send you a mod kit.
Okay.
And you wouldn't get the declicked aperture. It would still be autofocus. It would have infinite the focus ring would just spin infinite. It would just like essentially clamp onto your lens.
So is this them like doing their own modification to lenses that are already out?
Yes. Yeah. So right now you can go to it's like PC hood / cinematic their website, and you can buy like these kits or have them do it for you of like any Canon lens, any Sony or Nikon. They have Zeiss options. It seems like a Chinese too close.
Hmm.
But it's really cheap. So who knows?
Huh.
We'll have to wait and see. But I'm hoping I
Interesting.
can get one of those in because I'm very curious. Like, I mean, if the optics are exactly the same, which is what they are, right, between the cinema and the photo lens,
Yeah.
then if you get this thing modded, are you going to see any difference at all? And you'll save
So
yourself what?
essentially they're not sending me a lens that they're not sending me the 18 to 45 cinema lens. They're going to take off the skin and put like the housing using the
Yeah,
same
they'll
glass?
essentially, if you buy the cinema version, you'll essentially get a red metal cinema lens. Inside of that is the 18 to 35, but they've opened it up, they've declicked it and removed the
Oh,
electronics.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now I see.
Yeah. So
Great.
if you look at the photos of it,
That's scary.
yeah. Well, if you're buying it, if it's anything like the one they had, it was amazing. It felt
Yeah.
incredible. So who knows? Who knows? They definitely need to work on their website and being found anywhere.
Yeah, I
But they've been
know.
around for a while. They were there
Have
my
they?
first NAB in 2013. But yeah, it's very interesting.
Patrick is asking on the group chat here if do you know if they send the mod addresses focus if it addresses focus breathing?
I don't think it's going to change anything about the lens aside from being much easier to focus.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, it'll be a hard stop. A lot of these lenses will be a hard stop setup,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
it'll be declicked, and it feels really, really nice. They did have a mod on a Canon 70-200 as well there, and it felt a little funky on the zoom because you know how like a lot of those Canon lenses, the rings just feel kind of gritty.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just don't feel right. So
Hmm.
it'll definitely make it nicer
Hmm.
from like a operator's perspective.
Now, would it be the same like girth and thickness of the my digital zoom, or like the real cinema glass?
It'll
Like
be
the
bigger all around.
huh.
It looks very similar in size to the legit Sigma 18 or 35,
Hmm.
the cinema version.
That's interesting. And how much did you say that was?
Under
Roughly?
$2,000. I want to say it's like $1,500, $1,600.
Hmm. That's intriguing.
So it's like buying out the lens and spending another $700-800.
Very interesting. You know, one of the things, and I'm gonna shift over to a new product here. One of the things that really caught my attention, and I know you don't use the Easy Rig. I use it quite a bit for my work because FS7 decked out gets quite heavy. Um, is this new arm that they came out with, that Easy Rig came out with, that basically you can, if you already have, and this is what makes me so happy, if you already have an Easy Rig, which those things are not cheap.
Right.
Um,
The real one, right? Not the Chinese or not the knockoff.
yeah, no,
The
the
real
real
one.
one, the Vario
Right.
5. That thing's like 5 Gs.
Oof.
It's so expensive. Um, I was thankfully I was almost disappointed when I first saw it because I'm like, man, I want that one. But it's apparently just an attachment where you just replace the hook that goes over you, and
Right.
you add this kind of arm that gives you that up and down access. And that what that's supposed to do is so with regular Easy Rig, like for me, documentary work, I'm following a subject around anywhere. If I'm walking with a subject, my hips normally, because that's where all the that's where all the weight is going to. It's going to pull the camera up and down as I'm walking.
Right.
So trying to keep that steady is not easy with a regular Easy Rig. But with
Mm.
that, the fix to this was that serene arm that you'll see attached sometimes to the top of the hook. That is like a little kind of curves up and it's supposed to absorb all that movement as you're walking. But now apparently Easy Rig, and that serene arm was from Flow Cine. But
Right.
now Easy Rig has come out with their own that you simply
Mm.
replace the whole hook itself, and the whole thing just goes up and down. In addition to the rope that goes up and down, so that really caught my attention. I'm
Interesting.
definitely thinking about picking that one up because it might absolutely be worth it to add it to my Easy Rig.
So you'd essentially be able to use the Easy Rig as it was intended, which is for just taking the weight off your
Right.
back,
So yeah,
but also
it'll
be able to kind of use it like a steady cam by walking with it.
not definitely not like a steady cam. You'll still get
But not that
that handheld movement, but it's not
right.
going to be up and down as
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
walking. So that's what
Got
you're
it.
eliminating, which is fantastic. Also, yeah,
Interesting.
you could use a gimbal, and the same reason, like when people are using normal gimbals, they'll put it on an Easy Rig, but that was still an issue. It would pull it up and down as you're walking with the
Mm,
gimbal, so it kind of defeats the purpose of the gimbal. Now with that arm, that's no longer an issue.
right.
And yeah, people would use the gimbal with that serene arm that I was telling you about.
Mm.
But now they basically have their own serene arm, which sucks for Flow Cine. But now their product is obsolete because now Easy Rig has their own. Um,
It's kind of the problem with making something for someone else's product, right?
uh,
They
was
can just
that?
that's kind of the problem with developing
Yeah.
something that is designed for someone else's product.
Yeah. Yep. 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 Yeah.
Interesting.
It's it was very intriguing, and I really want to get my hands on that. I think that's going to be a green light for me.
Nice.
It's not something I have to think about too much, because that's
Nice.
actually what brings in the money now.
Yeah. Nice.
So I want to move on to this this product that looks so freaking good, and I'm very excited. I'm getting mine shipped over to me now.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
it's from IntelliTech, and it's
Ah,
called their Fast Frame. This, like, you have no idea. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see one of my recent posts is that I'm on set, and I have I like my soft lighting on my key lights. I do a lot of interviews and whatnot, and so, like, just like you like your soft lighting, etc. So basically, what this is a big diffusion panel, a diffusion board. It's I think it's like 5 by 3. It's like 5 by 3.5 or something like that. It's a That's a smaller version. They have a bigger size of this. And what it essentially is just that, but it's collapsible. You don't have to take this apart. You can build it up and break it down in a matter of seconds. And when I say seconds, not 60 seconds, I'm talking like 6 seconds.
yeah.
It's that fast. And I want to get the exact size and measurement here so that
Right.
people can know.
It's like 4x5, and then is it a 4x4? The smaller one?
Yeah, so let me see. So it's a 5. The big one is 5 by 6.5, and then the small one is 5 by 3.2.
Mm.
And then they both come with a grid, which is cool, a honeycomb grid, so you can focus that soft light to wherever you need it to go. But I'm gonna get a smaller one just for in case I don't have space in wherever I'm at. I think it's just good enough for what I need. And it's super light. It comes in a small bag, not a small bag, but a bag that while it's collapsed, you can put it in there, and it's really good for travel. It it really gets me excited that I'm gonna be able to have that nice soft lighting, separate the light from the diffuser to get even
Mhm.
softer light. I mean, you know the deal. So very, very excited about that. It's not available like anywhere else but the IntelliTech. I'm gonna put a link to this on the show notes
It's
for
not
the.
on B&H?
I don't think so.
Interesting.
Do
I
you
know
see it
they
there?
just recently got their stuff on B&H.
Did they?
Or at least last year, I think they were in talks, and they got all that taken care of. So
The
I'm so
cool
glad they're
thing
doing a
is,
grid with the little one, because
yeah,
that's
yeah, they
new,
didn't
right?
have it at the show, but yeah, they have it, and they sell it with the grid too. So,
Which is
um,
awesome. I don't think they sold the little guy without the grid.
currently,
Or
yeah,
with
so
the
currently and actually, if you want to see it, it's on the iFilmmaker. I did a story with Aaron. I did a quick story with Aaron where it shows him breaking it up and putting it up and putting it down. It's quite funny.
Mm.
The big one goes for $379, which is absurd. Absurd. And the small one goes for $319. That's the one I'm getting.
And that sounds probably like a lot to some, but I'm right now on DOP Choice's website trying to find their
Oh yeah.
all right, so here we go. They have their butterfly. I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find the equivalent size and the
Yeah,
price.
yeah. Find that, because I know I heard from a couple of buddies of mine that are usually on higher end projects that yeah, anything similar to this, like even a normal one that doesn't break down so fast it's crazy expensive. Like the diffusion alone is so expensive,
Mm.
let alone the border, you know. And then if you want the one that breaks down, that high end one that they use in professional sets that breaks down that easy, even more so, like very, very, like in the thousands from what I understand. So this is something that I haven't seen any other company do or come out with, and I was so excited about this. Um, Personally, for my work, for the way that I work. The cool thing is, and here's a little quick nugget for everyone. I'm about to do a promotion for IntelliTech on this because I was just that excited. So they gave us a coupon code for this. So if you guys want to go over to the IntelliTechUSA.com website, you just put in if you want to pick that up, use the coupon code iFilmmaker and you'll get 15% off. So that's a nice little nugget
Sick.
for you guys.
Very nice.
You could use that too, Caleb.
Love it. I can't find the frame for sale, but just to give people an idea, you know the Astra, right? A 1x1 panel.
Okay.
Just to put a honeycomb made of fabric, so it's not like metal or anything like that. Just a simple fabric honeycomb on that using the DOP choice snap grid, they call them. It's just essentially a piece of fabric that goes over the light and directs the light. It's $475 for the little guy. And at one point I looked up the DOP choice like 6x6 or 4x4, and it was like $5,000 for the base setup or something just insane. And sure, I'm sure it'll like last, you know, in the desert, rain, snow for years, but that's insane.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm jealous, man. That's great. I really can't fit much of that stuff in my current setup. So that'll be fun.
Man. Yeah, that's personally for me, because, you know, obviously for my work and whatnot, in addition to the Aputure lights and the RGBs and all that stuff, that little case with all the little RGB lights, which is so cool. It just opens up a wide array of options, you know, when lighting and getting creative. This is probably one of the highest things that I got mostly excited about.
Yeah.
For that. I mean, it's easy to get excited about cameras and lenses and whatnot, but this is like
modifiers are fun, man. There needs to be more innovation like this stuff. Ways to quickly set up and tear down, making everything smaller. I think that needs to happen soon.
Yeah. You know, for me, if it's imperfect, I'm a one-man band. Often, more often than not, I'm with a production assistant. But even then, like, I want my stuff to work quickly. I need, when my job gets easier, I'm happy.
Right.
So
how are you going to mount that, by the way? Just a C-stand?
That's what I was asking them too. So it has these little handles on the sides that stick out like this. So I'm thinking,
little
and maybe
things.
Yeah, maybe you can help me with this. I was thinking of looking on Amazon for one of those knuckles that you would see on a C-stand usually, like the little round
head.
Right. I don't know what that.
It's on the top of a C-stand. It has a knuckle you tighten down, and you can put an arm on it.
Exactly, and it has like multiple kind of inserts there. So I'm thinking that would just be perfect. So two regular.
And you're getting the big or the little one, or both?
I'm getting the little one.
Okay.
Just because, you know, that's the one that's easier for transport. But yeah, I could see myself using a big one if I had like a much bigger light source. That would be it. But oftentimes for the lights that I have or the lights that I plan to get, the little one would suffice for what I need to do. So
sure. You might be able to get away. I can't remember the weight of the frame, but you know the stands, light stands that at the top, instead of having a fixed 5/8, stud, it has a removable spigot.
Okay.
You ever seen those where you can like loosen it and pull it out? Now it's like a female light stand at the top.
Yep.
So what I've done a lot in the past is you get those stands. Came TV actually makes a really good one for like $35 or $30. And you loosen the top, you pull that spigot out, and now you have a female light stand. And then you get a Mathellini clamp or Cardellini clamp.
Okay.
Which is essentially, it's got a stud on the end and then a really heavy duty clamp. You spin this wheel or this knob.
Yeah,
and it's great for clamping anything that's like a tube. Really awesome. Everyone should have one. They're just so handy. Once you get one, you're like, how can I live without these things?
Yeah, Aaron was referring me to a video that they have on their site on the IntelliTechUSA.com website. And yeah, the guy that kind of reviewed this collapsible fast frame.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I never met him.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I haven't met him either, but we've
Gotcha.
talked over the internet.
Cool. Yeah. Maybe I'll look into that. Maybe I'll look into that because yeah, what I was originally thinking was just to have 2 light stands
Mm,
on each side. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the way he had it, he had one, obviously heavy duty C stand
right.
with one of those arms holding the stand,
Mm,
and then on the actual stand itself, it was like a wide arm, and he had like 3 LED panels. It was crazy
right.
setup he had there.
What I love about the Mathellini clamp is you just stick it in that stand I just talked about, put the stand real low, and then you can angle your frame that you're talking
Right.
about. Or if you want something heavy duty so it doesn't blow over outside, you got
Yeah.
to check out Triad Orbit. Have you heard of them?
No. What is
Oh,
that?
look up Jem Schofield's Triad Orbit video, or like just if you Google Triad Orbit, 2 words, you'll find this video. I can send it to you after, of my buddy Jem reviewing them. They're more of a music industry, but they're essentially stands that come in boom or normal stands. They look like little light stands, but they're as heavy as a C stand. They're weighted.
Really?
They're insanely heavy. So you can put like a huge rig on them, but without the bulk of a C stand. Because C stands are a big pain in the butt to travel with.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh,
So I've been
oh,
meaning to pick up a couple of those, and then that would easily take care of you. No sandbags needed. That 4x4
oh,
frame
wow.
easily. They're a little pricey, but it's because they're compact. And when you try to pick one up for the first time, it's shocking.
Really?
Like trying to pick, it feels like you're trying to pick up like Thor's hammer. Like it doesn't look like it should be that heavy, but it is insanely heavy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they're
a lot of
great.
people I'm sure a lot of people use it for boom arms and whatnot.
Yeah,
Looks like.
yeah,
Wow.
they're nice.
That looks super nice. I'm gonna look into that. I'm saving all of these tabs here so
Hmm.
that
That
we can
tab
go
life.
back and tab life, man. So what else do we have here? Did you happen to see the FNV lights?
I didn't. Did they come out with something new?
Yeah, so FNV came out with their new Z12000 VC LED light panel. Looks very good. But
I'll
just
check
like the
that
other
out.
one, man, the light is gorgeous. Just like the Z800S that I use. That's my main key light right now
Sure.
for my jobs. So this new one is my light is a 1x2, 2x1, and
Mm,
this new one is a 1x3. So
gotcha.
it's, I mean, it's a little bit longer, but it's now also in addition to bicolor, it's also RGB.
Okay.
So
So
it's
you can
really
do a little
cool.
plus and minus green or something
Y-
if you need to.
Yeah, right. And yeah, and you can put whatever other colors you want on there. But the issue for me with the F&V lights is just simply that the mobility of it.
Yeah,
Like
that looks
so
like it looks almost like a Kino like celeb,
right.
like a no joke
Yeah,
light.
and
Nice.
it's priced, I think, properly. It's a
Mm,
heavy duty light. This is not like little fly by night kind of product. It's a really solid product. But man, they need better cases for it. I
mm,
think because I don't have a case for mine, so I'm moving around with that thing just there. It doesn't have a case. I carry it by the yoke, and
yeah,
yeah, I make sure that it's protected
right.
somehow. The way I place it in my car, but yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. I would like to have one nice big Pelican case. I don't care how big it is. Just put
Sure.
everything in there.
Yeah.
But currently, that doesn't fit any one of my cases.
Ah, that's too bad. But yeah,
What about?
they were like the first legit high CRI LED manufacturers back when like light panels had their version 1 light.
Mm,
I remember F&V was the first one that's like, everyone's CRI is terrible. We're gonna actually figure this out.
yeah, that one. Mine is I believe 98 CRI. Man, it was really high rating, which is really good. So they're asking in the group chat here, are the small HD monitors worth it? Did you happen to see those?
The which one. They have like 50,000 models now. It's amazing.
Oh my god, dude,
Um,
I haven't even gotten your take on Atomos.
yeah, the small HD, I can't keep track of them anymore.
Yeah,
I have the Focus and I really like it.
the first one that came out.
The small HD Focus. Yeah, the
Yeah,
little flippy
yeah.
touchscreen dealio. It's
What
great.
yeah, what I really like about that is that you can reposition the screen.
Mhm.
So that's very convenient. I'm even interested in even putting something small like a Focus on the FS7.
Right.
So even for those kinds of shoots, I don't think I want a 7-inch monitor. A 5-inch I think will do just fine.
Yeah.
But now they have the same thing, the Focus, but they have it with SDI, and now
Yep.
they have a
The wireless one looks so cute. I love that. The handles and everything.
yeah, that's meant for lower end uh
Peasants
monitoring, you know.
like me.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it's meant for.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, man, and I haven't really done too much research on that, but I see that so they have the Focus the Focus HDMI
Right.
and SDI. Then they
Mhm.
have the high brights, the 5-inch high bright. Then they
Right.
have the 7-inch high bright, and then they have like another version, the ultra bright. It almost seems like they're kind of overlapping.
Yeah, I
Um,
think they're in trouble actually, as a company. Like, I don't know,
yeah.
but there's a phenomenal book everyone should read called, The 21 Immutable Laws of Marketing, I believe,
Mhm.
and one of them is line extension.
Right.
When you start making tons of stuff, and I feel like for a while they had it made, right? They had their
Right.
502, 702,
Yes.
big, big, big monitors, little, medium, they had a
Yeah.
nice little setup, and now it's just you pick a size and there's like 12 options.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
too much.
That is too much, and that's how what I see now with small HD is that a lot of their products are starting to overlap each other
Mhm.
in a sense that it's like all almost the same. You know, the difference between one or the other is one feature. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and I don't
I'm
know
sure there's some buyer remorse now because 'cause you're not sure which one you wanna buy, and then you buy one,
exactly.
"Ah, I should have gotten the other one." Now they're
Yeah.
turning everything.
Speaking of that, what do you think about Atomos? They've been releasing several things already,
They're going crazy. I
but it doesn't seem like they're overlapping though. It seems like everything they've released has a very good and genuine purpose to it.
Yeah, and they're cleaning up their line a little bit, like, they're
Yeah.
quietly knocking some stuff off of their list. So I
Okay.
think the Flame is gone now. Like, you can still buy it, but that's no longer, like, a part of their lineup.
Got it.
Um, and it's getting really clean. They've got their Sumo
Okay.
big
Sumo.
recorder.
Now,
Uh,
question about that. They have a Sumo 19. Is it 19, right? Sumo
yeah,
19. I saw Sumo 19M. Does that
right.
stand for monitor only?
It's just a monitor. So
Okay,
no,
cool. I figured that. Okay, I just
and apparently they've got some feedback. People want 17-inch. They don't like the 19.
jeez.
17 is more standard amongst, grips and
Well,
and
I guess
AC
if enough
technical.
people want it, then yeah, sure.
Yeah. So they've got the huge monitor and huge recorder. They got their 7-inch. They just announced their Shogun 7.
Shogun 7.
So they're cleaning up their numbers. And then they got their Ninja 5. So they got a really solid 5-inch, really solid 7-inch. And then, of course, the Shinobi. They got two of those now. Um,
Yeah, they
and
have yeah,
I guess they'll probably do a 7-inch, like, standard monitor as well at some point.
a 5-inch what?
A 7-inch monitor, just like the Shinobi, but 7 inches.
Oh, yeah, Shinobi 7-inch, yeah.
Yeah, something like that, I think they'll
Nice.
do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and
they
see
got a
when you
nice little lineup going on.
yeah, when you think about that, like, they each have their purpose, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
and they're going after small HD with that pricing. I
oh my
mean,
gosh.
they kicked them right in the gut when, they dropped that Shinobi. The $400 has everything.
How can you justify 800, like, double the price,
Yeah.
you know?
So, sneakily, right after Small HD released their Focus Basic, where you can buy the Focus without all the accessories, and it was $399. So, funny.
Oh, man. I love the free market, man.
Oh, me too. It's good stuff.
It gives us
I'm sure it's a
uh
drag at certain points for certain companies, but I
yeah,
mean, it's
that's
why we have
awesome,
all
man.
this cool stuff now, right?
Yeah. I love that they were listening and they added, like, one of my things is when the as soon as the Shinobi came out, and I wrote a blog about this on the website.
Okay.
As soon as the Shinobi came out, my initial question was, are they going to make an SDI version for this? Or were
Mm-hmm.
they, because again, FS7, um, will they have at least an adapter that we can use with this, and sure enough, they released an SDI version of the Shinobi, which is phenomenal. $500 for a nice bright monitor. Things like
Yeah.
1,000 nits. Um, and then after that, they brought us an adapter for the Ninja 5, the Ninja V.
Yeah.
And for a couple $100 more, I can get the recording capabilities through SDI. So I'm like, damn,
They
that
made it
sounds
really
like,
tricky.
come on now.
Yeah.
So for 400, then 500, then we're a couple hundred more, get the Ninja V with the adapter for SDI in.
Mm. It's dual
Unfortunately,
link, which sucks.
I'm sorry.
It's only 3G, which sucks, but
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
you know,
it's
most not for
unfortunate.
most people.
Yeah, it doesn't record raw.
Right.
So
That's a real drag.
yeah, that one was the kick in the gut there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I feel like we're getting a little too spoiled.
Yeah.
But still, there's a
They
demand, there's a demand.
Oh yeah. And they added some features that the Ninja 5 doesn't have with the Shinobi.
Did they?
Couple little things like my favorite is there's this button, all the like gazillions of like tools on those monitors.
Okay, okay.
There's a new one that's only on the Shinobi, and it's this like you tap it and your image goes kind of a little smaller and down to one corner, and then it gives you like waveform scopes, like everything. So with one
Wow.
glance, you see anything you could possibly need to see.
Uh-huh.
Um, looks like I lost your image there a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you can keep talking. I hear you. I just got to change the battery on the GH5. Speak.
Sure.
We're just talking about this.
No problem. So that's really interesting because you have something that's not on the Ninja 5. And I really, once I used the Shinobi, I really started to miss it because it's great while you're filming. You can, with one tap, you get all the tools, you can check everything, and then you can tap it and it all goes away. Whereas on the Ninja 5, you're kind of turning things on and off all the time. And it's quieter, it's lighter. The Shinobi is just a wonderful little monitor, whereas the Ninja 5 is kind of a beast. But then again, it's really handy having something future proof like that Ninja 5 because they can keep making these little modules.
Yeah, they really thought about that one.
Yeah.
Just like Aputure, having everything connected like that and putting technology that they know that they're going to use in the future afterwards. That's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I forgot to check to see if the Ninjas or the so many names. If the Shogun 7 also had that little connector. I forgot to check that.
Shogun 7.
So like the Ninja 5, the reason all those attachments work is there's a little like 30-pin connection
Oh
on the battery
yeah.
port. I wonder if they did the same with the,
Huh.
I mean, why not?
Yeah,
There's more connections already on the
right. If it's something
Shogun,
that they
but
know that it could be updatable later, why not? I feel like that's something that they would do. They're smart people.
yeah.
So we have a question in from the group chat here that they're asking. Oh, actually, they're suggesting maybe they'll update the Ninja V with the new screen from the Shinobi. I think that's something that could be updated.
The new screen from the Shinobi, is it a different panel? Talking about the Ninja 5?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen them both in depth.
I think they're both the same panel.
Okay.
It might be a slightly different processor.
Hmm.
But yeah, unless they meant coming from the Shogun 7, that has like a new processor with their new 360 dimming zones and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So that like it can, like, if there's a sun, they can put a lot of power over there, but then it's not backlighting the blacks. So you're
Right.
getting a more accurate, you know. Yeah, monitors are pretty interesting right now.
Yeah, there's so many to choose from. So many.
Oh, I see. Yeah, Furworks had that question. He corrected himself. The new display you mentioned with the oh, okay, that new feature I was talking about
Oh, I
where
see. Okay.
I really hope they do because I love it. Where you have that one tap and all these tools come up.
Huh.
Hopefully, hopefully.
I got to look into that. I haven't seen that feature yet, but yeah, it sounds like something I would definitely use. It's essentially like a quick status uh to check on the
Yeah,
status on your image.
yeah, yeah. It's great if
Tap
you're a
in and
big
tap out.
scope guy.
So is there anything else that we missed? I know we mentioned a lot of stuff on when I had Matt and Peter on last week.
Mm,
Anything else that calls out to you? I think I've mentioned everything between last episode and this episode.
right.
Um,
There's one thing I can show you.
mhm.
Have you seen these little Loomies? These little Lumi lights?
I just saw that before
I'm gonna do the makeup tutorial thing because it's this
before
one.
I just saw that before I started this episode. Let me hold on. Let me keep that on there. I'm gonna
Oh,
put it
okay,
full screen. There you
cool.
are.
So, I've got two here. These are like demo units, so they're not like
Okay.
finished,
Yeah, tell me
but they're
about
these
those.
little tiny. Imagine them, or think of them as like tiny quasars. I don't know why it's refusing to focus on these, but I'm gonna do. I hate doing this. I don't know why it makes me feel so bad. I don't like it. But anyway, there they are. There's a bicolor and a RGB model, and they're like water resistant, and then they can lay flat or they can snap and then roll up. You can
Nice.
like put them on a light stand or around something, round a tree, and
How
they're
bright do
magnetic.
they get?
Sorry.
How bright do they get?
One, two, three. Of course, I'm like got this ridiculously huge light. They're pretty bright. I would say it's similar to like an Aputure M9, a little less. It's more of like an accent light.
Okay.
Let's see if I can backlight my head there. It's pretty bright, right?
Yeah.
Um, but you could put it on. They mentioned like some guys are putting them on their matte box. You can put them anywhere for a little pop of light.
Right.
So this one is the bicolor, so I can switch it. And that was, let's see. So there's daylight. I'll just put it real close on the dark side of my face.
Yeah.
Bicolor. And then the RGB one, you can kind of cycle through primaries. So again, let
All
me do
right.
this.
I'm starting to like small little RGB
Yeah.
lights. Those are starting to become much more attractive.
Yeah. So these things, I mean, that's all that's in your bag, just this tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And then you could just kind of put them
Snap them
around a
open and
room.
snap them closed.
So I've been using like the Aputure M9 for that kind of stuff. But these with the magnets and you can form them around stuff. That's really, really handy. So you
That's
can have a
really
whole bunch of
cool.
these. They're thinking $50, which is
50
pretty nice.
bucks
Little
each.
hook on them. Yeah.
Okay.
Built-in USB battery. You can use them while they're plugged in.
Huh.
Yeah. They're going to have all kinds of accessories. They're going to make a little mount where you can connect multiple together.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You said that they have magnets in the back, or you didn't say that?
Yeah, they're magnetic.
Okay.
So I don't have anything
So
magnetic
they
here, but
just get a nice
I put them on
magnetic.
like ductwork, you
Yeah.
know?
You get a magnetic plate where they can
Yeah,
all be
totally.
connected on that plate.
Yeah.
And
I
that
think
plate.
he showed me like a 3D printed like it was like a star where you can connect them all
Oh,
together.
nice.
Just stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
small stuff like
interesting.
that intrigue me. Like you can get so creative with that stuff. Make your own little ring light or whatnot. But yeah. Oh, what do you think about the battery grip for the Pocket 4K?
I think it's great that they're making it and listening to people. I think it's a little odd that they're going from Canon to Sony. So if you want to use it
Oh,
with and
that's
without
right.
the grip, you got to have two battery types. But I would imagine a lot of people will just install it and leave it installed. And I hope it's not too janky like this. The S1, when you pre-ordered it, you could get it with the grip for free. So I got the grip, but I'm probably just gonna sell it because that never works well for video. It always feels all janky and like it's just
Really?
not solid, you know?
It does feel that way when I like when I use it with the GH5 or especially with the A6300 when I had a battery grip on there on a tripod with a heavy lens. I felt like it was straining the grip
Mm,
because you're attaching the grip. Really, you're attaching the grip to the release plate of the tripod. Then the lens, it's starting to have you locked here. The lens, the heavy lens is weighing that thing down.
right.
You know, so it's really straining. I've always felt like that, um, in that regard. So I don't know. I mean, unless there's a big cage for it that you attach the whole thing to.
Yeah. But even that, like, I don't know. That would work because there's a quarter 20 on the top and bottom of the camera, so they could lock that puppy in.
Right, right. So you could probably fix it that way. But I mean, I like that they're always trying to improve. But yeah, you're right. They did go to Sony. Do those Sony batteries now, the ones that they have for that battery grip, can they contain more power or
The new
something?
Sony batteries?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a little bigger,
Right.
but they just last forever. So I don't know what kind of tech is different about it. I mean, it's a larger battery capacity,
Hmm.
but I feel like the cameras are consuming power differently. I don't know if there's a
Huh.
way. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to answer that, but they're definitely make a huge difference. So I
Gotcha.
would say the Sony A7 III is potentially better battery life than like the GH5, um, even though it's a full frame sensor, which is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm very excited about the S1.
Mm,
I would like to see what the when Sigma comes out with that adapter because it might
yeah.
be very intriguing for me. But yeah, I just realized that though I wouldn't be able to use it with my 18 to 35 or 50 to 100 because they're not full frame lenses. But I do have my 24 to 105 and 70 to 200 and 14 to 24, so
Mm.
might still work.
I can't recall if the camera has like an X Tele where you can like crop in and use
Right,
old
you can,
lenses. Like,
right, you could use it as a Super 35.
yeah. Huh.
They're asking in the group chat here if you know that the S1 Vlog is going to be 10-bit and 400
Yes.
megabits.
Yeah, we're not fully sure. We know it'll be legit Vlog, not Vlog L, like on the GH5 and 5S.
Yeah,
And it will be 10-bit internal something. My guess is
nice.
they'll I mean, this thing is so big, they can do so much with it. Like the people that are complaining about the size, like better
Why
stabilization
would anybody
and
complain
heat
about the
dissipation.
size?
Well, I could see if you had smaller hands or you liked the A7 III size. I mean, I'm holding it right now with the kit lens, the 24
Yeah,
to 105.
yeah,
It's a lot. It's not just the size, it's the weight.
yeah.
I mean, this thing is way heavier than a 5D. Way
I'm
heavier.
just used to heavier camera.
The
So,
EVF is out of control good though.
yeah,
Holy
is it
cow. It's like looking through a DSLR, like into the real world. It's
a
messed up.
DSLR? Wow,
It doesn't feel like a screen at
it
all. It's
intrigues me.
crazy.
How many megapixels is it for stills?
20, I think. 24. Correct me if I'm wrong,
I
folks.
think
The
I,
S1. The
I think
S1R
I
is
saw
way more.
24. The
Yeah.
S1 the S1R was like 46 or something.
I haven't tried it, but I want to do that like the what is it? The high resolution stills mode. Have you heard about that?
Is that the same thing as the 6K feature on the GH5?
No. Well, maybe where like the sensor moves and takes a photo multiple times and
Oh
stitches it
no,
together
I've
because
never heard of that.
because the sensor is floating in a magnetic field. So you can it'll take a photo in like the top left, and the sensor will actually move through the full range of its
Oh wow.
stabilized area, and then create a photo like a crazy high resolution
Hmm,
still.
that's
So that ought to
crazy.
be pretty sick, but I haven't tried it yet.
Interesting. That's insane, man.
And then we got to wait for that A7S III
Oh my gosh. I don't
someday.
I don't know why people like Matt are still hoping and like that's why he's still hanging on to his A7S II.
Mm,
I feel so bad, man. I already jumped away from that so long ago when I bought the GH5. It's because I've already
right,
given up on the A7S II. I mean A7S III.
right.
Um, I don't know, man. I don't know what Sony is doing.
They say it's gonna happen, and it's gonna blow our minds. I was thinking. I was talking to someone the other day, and I think like, why would they come out with it now? they're still crushing it with their A7 III.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Canon, Sony, and Panasonic, they've been able to wait and see what everyone else did.
Yeah.
And without the firmware updates, no one has like gotten to a point where they're encroaching on Sony yet.
I still truly believe that they're the reason they hadn't come out with it like even a year and a half ago, even 2 years ago, because they were really intimidated by the GH5. I really do believe that. I believe that, and I think that they're gonna release it, and they knew that the GH5 was just gonna take over, even though it's a completely different type of camera in a sense, the low light and the full frame and whatnot. But I don't know. I can't think of any other reason to wait so long. Now, you know, the S1 is out, you know, so if they're gonna blow our minds, it's gonna have to be better than all of those cameras.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think that's why is they're like, you know what, let's just hang in there. We're okay. We're not
Sure.
dying on sale. And then they
Yeah.
watch everyone come out. And now what they can do is they're like, oh, okay, so the best camera of the bunch is the S1 after the updates. So what
Sure.
we're gonna do is we're gonna completely match that and then just add 2 features and just, you know, it's like a 8-foot guy on the other side of the volleyball net. He's just gonna like boop. No, we're still the best. So I
Stay
don't know.
down,
Who knows?
puny
Who knows?
human. Oh
Yeah.
man, this was a great episode, man. I'm trying to think of anything else that we did not cover. We're not doing a part 3. So
Yeah, right. Oh,
oh
I feel like
man.
there's one other. Oh,
What's up?
do you guys talk about the Zoom 8
Oh,
F6?
yeah, we haven't talked about audio. It's funny. We're
Hmm.
going almost on 2 hours and we haven't talked about audio.
Well, for that, it would just be for me, Deity and Zoom.
Yeah.
The
So tell me about I have the H6. That's what I use actually
I'm
for my
sorry, F6. F6.
F6. Okay. I
Um,
heard about that. I
it's like
didn't look
raw
too
audio.
F6.
Yeah.
Raw
I would,
audio.
if you're gonna learn up about it, I would recommend everyone watch Curtis Judd's video. It was very helpful. Essentially, you can shoot. There's 6 inputs, XLR inputs. You could turn all the knobs to 0 and record audio, 6 different people, and have perfect levels. You literally do not have to set your input levels.
Okay. Say that one more time.
It's just like raw video or raw stills are very similar at least. So this
Wow.
32-bit float, they call it float recording, is essentially raw audio. So you just plug the microphones in. As long as they're plugged in, you essentially have perfect levels. And in post, you just set it in post production.
But I assume they have some sort of limitation though, right?
The file size will be bigger, but for guys like us, that'll be a joke. You know,
Right, 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 right. Right.
you know,
If
audio guys are like,
if
man,
you're
I
only
don't know if I
handling
want to shoot at
video,
96. This is, you know, I'm creating a lot of megabytes over here.
sure.
Um, so that's exciting, and I'm sure that technology will eventually take over everywhere.
Zoom F6, 6 XLR inputs, features some very low noise floor preamps found in the Zoom F8N. How much is
Mm,
this bad boy going for?
it's not. They haven't announced a price yet. It's probably not going to be cheap, but at any rate, the technology that's really exciting. Can you imagine
Huh.
just point a microphone at somebody? I
Killer
mean, you
bee.
still have to get good mic placement and all that stuff, but
I bet
it'd be exciting to not have
you're
to
gonna
worry
make me
about
go
that.
broke after this episode. If you see me under a bridge one day, all my gear around me
You know,
under a
but you still
bridge.
got your gear.
I still
I
got
can shoot. I can capture raw audio.
I'm gonna be
I just don't
cradling
know
the
how.
G2, the Ursa Mini G2.
There you go. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh man. Um Deity had some cool microphones there. I didn't get to test them out too much.
Mm.
Um and Rode, even though they weren't there, they had the Rode Wireless Go. Some people were
Yeah.
talking about that.
Yeah.
I know you were interested in that to, I guess, check them out.
Mm.
Um What do you think? Like, who do you think they're targeting there? They're
Rode.
very peculiar. Wireless Go.
Yeah, I wonder if it's their answer to the Sennheiser XSW. I
Mm-hmm.
think is what it is. Those little lipstick tube things.
AVX. Those are my guys.
Ah, the pro version of that.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
because there's
use
the
the AVX.
yeah,
Okay.
there's the AVX, and then they Sennheiser came out with the XSW. There's
XS.
all these different kits. They're
That's
essentially
right.
little
That's right.
gadgets. You can like pair them instantly. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're like lipsticks. Yeah, look at that
Yeah,
thing.
you can, like get a little collection of those, and now you can do whatever with them.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
saw these come out.
yeah, so they're like what 250, whereas Rode's got their $200 little setup, which has a
Um,
little more, like has a screen on it and some other features.
the Sennheiser, the XSWD portable lavalier set, like the basic one, 2.4 gigahertz, is 350.
Right, I believe the microphone and certain other kits are a little more expensive, but I think there's a kit that's like the bare bones, bring your own microphone
Really?
option for 250. Maybe it's
Could that be it?
300 or 250 or 3, and it's like there's no microphone with it.
Yeah. I don't see an option for that here on
Mhm.
B&H for the 250. The
Right.
lowest I see is 350.
Oh, okay. Huh.
And then
Um,
and then for 450 they have another transmitter that is meant to plug at the bottom of a handheld microphone.
for the Sennheiser?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
350 is the lowest price. Oh, wait, 300.
there you go.
I see a 300 base set, presentation base set. Oh, but see, that doesn't include wireless lab. That's
Yeah.
where the
Yeah, it's the bring
receiver.
your own
Yeah.
microphone kinda
No, no,
kit.
no, no, no. That doesn't include a lavalier transmitter. It seems like it's only including the plug-in receiver and a transmitter for the butt of the handheld microphone. So it doesn't include a lavalier transmitter.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's 350 for the set.
Gotcha.
And then Rode has a $200 wireless Go, which is not bad. It has a built-in microphone too.
Yeah. Interesting.
Let me see.
Yeah, because it's got a screen on it, so you can see your levels. So
Yeah, that one was, yeah, look, it's a #1 seller here on B&H.
yeah, I'm sure.
Those things are
So
going, man.
yeah. So
Especially for
Sennheiser's got their $300 setup, and then Rode's got their
350. 350 to get.
well, I'm seeing $300.
Really? On
Yeah,
B&H?
XSWD portable interview, XSWD presentation, transmitter receiver.
Oh,
So the only upside to having the Sennheiser is it all depends on the range and how well they all sound and everything. But the Sennheiser, you can buy 3.5 millimeter on the receiver and transmitter, or
okay.
or you could go out and buy XLR versions and create these different combinations.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Okay.
so now I'm really curious. I pre-ordered one, and of course they came out with that after I did a video explaining why I no longer use Rode.
I
So
didn't want to bring that up.
ah, so we'll see. I'm totally open to it being
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm sure that you got enough questions about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, by the way, what happened to that video? You said you weren't going back to
Yeah.
Rode, and then they come out with this one. Honestly, when I first saw the announcement on social media, you were the first person I thought about.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sure a lot of people like. Yeah, you should see the comments on the post where I'm like, oh look, this is new. This is interesting.
Oh yeah, I did see the comments.
Yeah.
I thought that was so interesting and funny.
Yeah.
Funny how things work like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, no, you were making a point, and I think that point was clearly taken. Now, this is something that they don't typically do in the sense that, they come out with a really good product at a very affordable price
Yeah.
point.
200
So,
bucks. That's insane. If it can like hold a signal,
yeah,
that's gonna be great.
yeah. Yeah, that's very attractive, especially for especially when I was first getting started to have something
Mm,
like that at $200.
golly. The cheapest option I remember was like the G2,
Yeah.
Sennheiser G2.
Yeah, that when I bought my Rode, which I don't have anymore. It's actually I donated to my church. I bought the Rode NTG2, and
Mm,
that was like huge for me. It's my first shotgun microphone.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
was so happy
That
with
was my
that thing.
first one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I think I had like an Asden, like the first microphone they ever
Oh
came
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Terrible,
Asden was
but
Yeah, I remember Asden was very sound like you were in a tin can from what I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
from the reviews that I saw at the time. But let's see
Otherwise,
anything.
for audio, I mean, Deity, they have a couple new microphones.
I know that they were pushing that on-camera microphone that's detachable from the mount.
Yeah, that's
I don't
great. The D3 Pro. Or wait, are you talking about a different mic?
I think so. No, no, I'm actually not very familiar with
Oh,
the
okay.
deity.
D3 Pro is essentially like a Rode VideoMic Pro with more features, a built-in
Right.
dial that's declicked and it's really, really nice. And then you plug it into anything.
Yeah,
Um,
D3 Pro, 200
yeah,
bucks.
yeah.
What's the I know I think you made a video on this. Like, how is this comparable to the VideoMic Pro Plus?
I think it sounds better. Like I
Okay.
don't like the really bassy
Okay.
because it's gonna pick up cars, traffic, AC, and you can always add it back. It's just there's a boost in the lower frequencies.
Got it.
Um, so the Deity is I think it's more like switching from Bose headphones to Sony like professional monitoring headphones. It's just clean. It's
Right.
nice, clean, not colored at all. And it's the same size as a shotgun, so you can put it on boom poles and use all the same attachments. And because the Rode VideoMic Pro is massive, its footprint is
It is
huge.
very big. It is very big. And does this microphone turn on when you turn on your camera?
Yeah, it has all that stuff, USB-C rechargeable,
Mm.
and you can get a little adapter and use phantom power with it. Um, and it has a dial. So you have 10 steps
Wow.
instead of the 0, -10, and
Yeah, for
+20.
$200, yeah, for $200
Yeah.
is that's quite good,
Mm,
especially for beginners. Like,
yeah. So you
if
can
you're
put
like,
that on a boom pole. That could grow with you. That'd be a great mic. And you can plug it into your iPhone and immediately record with
oh,
it. So
really?
yeah, it has a
Oh,
smart
yeah.
connector, so it'll read whatever you're using. Um,
Yeah, you can't beat that.
yeah. And then they have their shotgun microphone. They released or they announced a couple different mics, some smaller microphones, some pencil condensers.
Yeah, they were trying to the guys over there were trying to show me how that new shotgun mic that they had, it was
Mm,
like a pearl color. Uh,
yeah.
they were trying to show me how it's better, according to them, than the NTG3.
Mm,
Um,
interesting.
yeah.
NTG3 or NTG5? Because it's like a pencil condenser, right? So it's a shorter microphone with like interchangeable capsules. Did it have like little capsules you could take on and off? Or is it their other one? They released so much stuff. They have
Yeah,
another little
yeah.
tiny, their S Mic 2S.
Did you know that Aputure had a shotgun microphone?
Yeah, I'm actually using it right now.
Aputure?
Yeah, the Aputure Deity. It's
Th-
the
Did they
OG, the first microphone.
really?
Yeah, and then they decided to spin off a new company, which is now the S Mic 2.
Ah,
But it's pretty
interesting.
much the same microphone. It's just they made some upgrades to it, but
So does
it's
Aputure own Deity?
I couldn't tell you. I'm sure there's some relationship there.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I'm just looking at it for the first time right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Aperture came out with that. That's back when Aperture made monitors and all this stuff, and then they decided, you know what, let's clean this up and have a different company. We'll just focus on lighting because they
Good
were just
move.
killing it at the time with lighting. So
Good move. That's
yeah.
fantastic. Um. Oh, IntelliTech. I'm sorry, not IntelliTech. IntelliTech on the mind. Tentacle Sync. Have
Oh,
you heard of
okay, sure.
things are awesome. Have you heard of those and you used them
Yeah, I've never
before?
used them, but I know like that's like one of the best budget ways, or just one of the best ways to deal with time code, right?
Yeah,
That
that
makes
looks phenomenal.
yeah.
I'm not gonna get all into it, but essentially you can use a bunch of different cameras, especially if you're on a multicam shoot for a documentary. You could use two GH5s, two A7S IIIs, or A7 III, sorry, S1, whatever SLR camera you want, an FS5, mix it all up with these small little I keep saying IntelliTech, tentacle sync devices. I think they're like $250 each. So small. Attach it to your camera. All the time code is synced via an app, which is phenomenal. Really, really good.
Smart.
Crazy that nobody else has thought of that, or at least released it.
That's true.
That's crazy. Man, I think we're good. We reached the 2-hour mark on our stream here. My goodness, I think this is definitely my longest episode.
Oh my.
Thank you for your patience, dude.
No problem.
And everybody that's been on the chat here, they've been troopers.
They really have.
Hanging in there with us, having their own little party in the chat room there.
They're going all Alexa Mini LF on you.
Alexa Mini LF. That was a cool. That was a very.
Can you imagine 5 years if we knew that stuff like that was going to happen, or even 10 years ago? It's crazy.
That's insane, man. Like the kind of stuff. Yeah, 5 years ago, 5 years ago. What was I looking at, man? 5 years ago, I was shooting on maybe a T3i, Canon T3i. That was my thing. And then what was it? It was like even 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. Not 4. I don't think it was 4. But anyways, that's when I first bought the A6300.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that was an exciting purchase. When that camera came out, that one was so crazy. Putting 4K in a small camera like that was phenomenal at that price.
Yeah, that thing was. Yeah, that's going to be. It'd be interesting to do a video like talk about the last decade of video. And
do it, man.
The golden, best cameras of the decade. The ones and that was one of them.
Yeah.
That was like what? Super 35, 4K, your tiny body.
Yeah, that was huge.
Amazing autofocus.
Oh yeah, that was phenomenal. It's still a really good camera, man.
Like one of the first cameras, I was like, wow, all that stuff, and it's got great autofocus.
Yeah.
That
120 frames and
amount of time, guys like us were like, get that autofocus garbage out of here. And now the like lose their minds if it doesn't have good autofocus. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter. Again, like I'm always manual. But yeah, autofocus is always a good feature.
Yeah,
some parts there. Man, I want to thank everyone that joined us live on this episode. I think we're all talked out here, man. We're going on 2 hours here. Thank you for everyone that joined us live, and for those of you that are listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, any other platform for podcasting, make sure to go over to the iFilmmaker YouTube channel, get subscribed, and turn on that notification button to know all the times that we go live. Sometimes it's very sporadic, and you'll always get notified no matter what. I'm going to put the links to, I would say, most of the stuff that we talked about on this episode on the show notes for this show over at iFilmmaker.tv. Dude, you want to go ahead and give a plug? Not that you need one, but where can people find you?
Sure. YouTube, here on YouTube for those watching, youtube.com/DSLR video shooter. And then offline or off of YouTube, Twitter is a great place. Just Caleb Pike, CALEBPIKE is where I hang out a lot over there. And that's pretty much it.
Sweet, man. Sweet. Thanks so much for your patience, for laying down all your tech knowledge on the industry and all these products that got everybody excited. I think we covered it all, man. I think that's enough for one episode for sure.
was a lot, and thank you so much for having me and
No,
for having me
absolutely.
try
Huh?
day was. So
Yeah, man, that was awesome. It was fun hanging out with you also at NAB. Good
likewise.
times. Good times. Thank you for everyone that's watching us live. Once again, we're going to sign off now. And until next time, we'll catch you there.